What is up and welcome back. Today we're looking at a video from my locals. This time we're gonna have to look at the finals, and for me it was the test for the upcoming regional that I'll be attending. Well, actually for this video it is in the past, but for me right now this is the probably final game I'll have to take a deep dive into before the regional. Hopefully I will, alongside this video, have another video on my channel with another deck profile of the deck that I'll be playing, and hopefully it says something like first or second place, but we will see after tomorrow, for me at least. For you, hopefully it is already out. This time I have recorded my hands, so you'll also have the information I had during the game. And hopefully we can see for the games that I lost, if I could have done something better or different. And for the games that I won, if there were a easier route to winning. But without any further ado, let's get right into the video. So here I'm starting a little bit early, and that's because I know that time is starting before we're actually done shuffling. But we will start with the die roll here. I roll a 3. Which is unfortunately not a lot, and here we see time starting, so it's all cool, right? And my opponent rolls more than 3, so we will get right into this match. As you probably already know, this is for me a really rough matchup. It is a matchup that I'm not looking forward to, because it's player dependent, I'd say. It's somewhat hand dependent too. But anyway, for game 1 here, we'll be looking at a Droll in Lockbird, a Snake Eyes, the Temple field spell of Snake Eyes, a Wanted, a Kashtira Birth, and a Black Witch. Not the best hand, but knowing that I'm going against this Fire King version of Snake Eyes, the Droll will hopefully carry me through this game, is what I'm thinking here. So my opponent's looking at the hand, thinking about what they want to do, understandably so. This is, of course, again, the finals. So we're starting off with discarding the Fools for setting a card with the Black Witch. And I'm already a little bit disheartened with this, because my opponent is getting hand tracks. And you can almost see me actually catching a snapshot of my hand here. So usually, if you do not have Deception in hand, you 99% of the time will set it. And we set OSS. And I'm a little bit, oh no, that is not good. But I'm kind of surprised that we are setting Deception here, and we activate Deception. So my opponent is revealing more cards than he needs to, but understandably so. Because we do want Hallowed before we actually start playing. So we draw here off the Hallowed, having 4 cards left in hand, and my opponent is looking at the graveyard. And now they have an option if they want to, well, which level 1 fire they want to summon, or they can activate Hallowed, which we do, and set up the negate. Oh, I'm actually kind of surprised here, actually looking into my opponent's extra deck, seeing the Foucault. So I was at the understanding that Fire King players were not playing Foucault. That is not as relevant to them, say at least. Well, the extra deck space is tighter. So anyway, we summon the Sylvia, we set the Deception in end phase, and we pass, which I'm pretty happy about. But our hand is not really the best. We do have Wanted, we do have Black Witch, so we have some game. But we're staring down an Omnigate. So we activate the Birth. Or shits and giggles, I guess. I cannot remember what I drew. If it were an OSS I drew, I'd see how we want to bait something out, which we do, which it is. So we're baiting out interaction here. We want the opponent to stop it. And now that I think about it, we actually do not have a way to find our Snake Eyes engine now. But it does get impulsed. which is to me kind of scary because that is another negate that we have to take into consideration. So we get the temple here, and here I'm thinking if I want a, well, I'm considering whether or not my opponent will summon a monster during my turn, considering that they do not have, you know, Promethean Princess in graveyard or anything like that. But again, I do not have any fires in my graveyard, so that Diabellstar won't do much. But anyway, we end up setting the Ash here. And now that I think about it, would it Hallowed? Well, would Diabellstar set Hallowed, Surge, Diabellstar set Deception, and then search Hallowed? Be better? Anyway, we discard our last card here with the Diabellstar for the Wanted, so we at least get a draw of the OSS. And we set up our opponent with the Black Witch. And of course, if they do not remove the Sylvia with Black Witch here, we could go Battle Phase, remove another negate, if it does get negated. Because we do indeed not have a lot of interaction here. So what I was thinking about earlier, where if we started with the Diabellstar, sent the Wanted, if even though the Hallowed would be impulsed, most likely, if it were better, and then we had OSS, but I guess we end up the same here. So anyway, we draw, we put the OSS in this bottom of the deck, and now we're staring down 2500 attack. I'm pretty sure I drew a Imperm, which, so looking back at this, right, is what we're trying to do. Setting the Ash would not be optimal for this, because we want, like, drawing the Ash would be also a great card here, compared to something like Flamberge or Diabellstar. I think that the bigger monsters would be have been better to set. I especially see Flamberge actually here being able to be summoned in case my opponent puts something into the spell trap zone during their turn here. Because at the moment, the only interaction we have is the Imperm. And now that my opponent has Wanted into Witch, is scary. So Hallowed, add back. And we know the Deception is set. They have another Unknown set, and they have one card alongside the Black Witch. 2 cards alongside the Black Witch. So we're definitely not ahead here. So we go Hallowed. Say okay. But I'm pretty sure we're going to see the Sylvia, considering that we know a Black Witch, yeah. So here we go, Temple, summon the Ash effect to search pop. Like, in case our opponent will not go for game here, which I do not see a way that is not happening. I at least have follow-up here. But so I guess the optimal play here would have been to go Wanted in draw phase, search the either bait out interaction because we already have the Black Witch, or then search the Diabellstar, being able to send the Diabellstar, try to get something off the Black Witch. If that is stopped, we can Earth to activate the OSS and hopefully not get impulsed off that, or negate it anyway, and then have some Snake Eyes engine. Or no, I was about to say that we could have added another fire and then set the Diabellstar off the field spell. Like, right now I'm just yapping, right? Because this game is more or less lost for what I can see. Also having the, now I see Bonfire, looking back down at the game. We have no more interaction to play with here. Anything that we Imperm, get Sylvia, my opponent. I think my opponent actually forgot that I added the OSS to hand and suddenly got scared of it. And we see that the opponent has had plenty of gas here, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, I definitely think my... Oh, I still forgot about the OSS. I actually knew that the OSS was in Spell Trap Zone. Huh. Would you look at that? So I actually knew more than I thought I knew. I was afraid of both the set cards on the field during my turn, which is why I played suboptimally, I think. because I wanted to play around something like Imperm 2. But we knew actually the cards that were set. Anyway, so yeah, I definitely think that we should have wanted in draw phase, try to bait out some negate. You know, like an Ash, which sometimes is great, but yeah, it is kind of whatever. And then we could have added the Snake Eyes Diabellstar, and we could have sent that off Black Witch. Like, you know, emptying out the deck in the case that we need to use the Wanted to draw. Especially that we drew the OSS. We were sure to draw even if the Diabellstar got negated. So we're even thinning a deck out more. And here my opponent... So, back at the game, right? My opponent is trying to Kirin summon back. And I'm pretty sure that they want to, you know, destroy a card in the field, surprisingly. So I just imperm the Sylvia to try to at least get something out of it. And they just say, okay, I hope that at least I'd be able to remove 1900 off the field. But anyway, here we go, just the usual combo for my opponent. We go into Hita, we summon back we add back the Ash, and I say, it is over. You win this one. I showed the card that I had in hand because my opponent was audibly worried about it. Just to show them that you knew I had this. But anyway, let's jump right into game 2. We are going first. We're staring now at Snake Eyes Oak, Snake Eyes Poplar, Black Witch, Cosmic Cyclone, and Ash Blossom, which is not really the best. And we start off with the Perulia, and I'm like, that sucks. So I need to Ash this. I at least have 2 cards that I need to summon here. So the optimal play here, I think, is definitely Black Witch, then the Poplar, not using Poplar effect, get the Deception, try to get my opponent out of resources here, or at least get an Omninegate. We go Deception, tribute the Black Witch. Search out the Hollowed. I'm like, please do not have draw. But I guess we'd be able to play through draw somewhat. At least set up something. So we go Hallowed. I'm thinking about whether or not I should search. And I think I might as well search. So that I'm able to have OSS in the graveyard. Because I'm like, do I need Wanted? Oh wait, I already have the Witch. I cannot. And I really don't have any other search target that I want. Actually not sure that I want to show the OSS here now that I think about it. But yeah, so DD Crows my Hallowed, and my opponent's like, yeah, that still gets returned. I'm like, oh, that is right. That sucks. That is kind of wild. I mean, we're talking a little bit about, like, I for a fact have cut DD Crow from my deck, and it's only for space reasons. You know, stuff like Imperm and Fool Us. I don't feel like it's better. It is better. I know it is. But anyway, we normal summon Oak. We get the Poplar back. There could have been a thought about actually putting the Poplar into the Spell Trap Zone, having Oak to resummon later. Because we don't really need the extra body here. So we go Poplar effect, Poplar, add Temple to hand, activate Temple. Sending the Diabellstar. Oh, of course we want that for the combo. And here I'm not too familiar with my lines, but I'm trying to rip off of it. I'm pretty sure I'd be able to set up the board. So we go Ash. Can't remember what we were discussing here, but I definitely showed my opponent the OSS. But that could also have been a thing, like, you know, have Poplar in the Spell Trap Zone, search the OSS, still have something to do. But we go Summon Birch of the searched Ash into the Rabbit. We go... Did I forget Poplar effect? Oh no. Oh, I didn't. I just activated it in the wrong order. Because we want Poplar 1, Rabbit 2. Oh, I did it in the right order. I'm just further. So anyway, we go for the more or less standard combo here. I thought through my lines. We summon out the Flamberge. We go into IP here. So right now we're staring at OSS and the Cosmic Cyclone. So we link into the IP, and here I'm like, if you play Nibiru, you're both crazy for playing it, but you do the right thing, I guess. I really feel like Nibiru is not the card that we're playing right now, so I don't want to think about it. And usually I'm able to play through it for what my experience has been. So anyway, we're on the board we want to. We want Azurune set, Rabbit on the field alongside the Pit Knight Erling and the Flamberge with the IP in the Spell Trap Zone. And of course the Cosmic Cyclone set. Right? We do set the Cosmic, surely. Yes, sir. With the Cosmic set. So we have plenty of interaction here. And I go end phase, set the Deception. We're clarifying effects, of course, here. And my opponent was just making sure that it was the Azurune set. Plenty of time left on the clock. There shouldn't be any reason to be scared of this, really. We pass turn. We are staring down 4 cards. Everything is accounted for. And now we just wait for our opponent to scoop up their cards and go for game 3. So we start with the bonfire. I have nothing to stop the bonfire, so we're just okay. Like anything that we're searching here, I'd be able to negate. The biggest worry for me was if they added the Poplar, because that means they have an other normal summon. And also, of course, I'm joking here whether or not I have the draw. But of course I wouldn't set the OSS here. Wouldn't be a reason to. We normal summon Ash. And I'm not sure. Yeah, they Ash effect. So we go Poplar to summon. They say okay. We go Pit Knight to negate. And they say the one word that I do not want to hear. Here in effect. Like, no. They always have it. And this is why this is the sole reason that I fear this matchup, is simply I try to target negate and my opponent just says no. But anyway, we get the Poplar and the Kieran comes out. The IP is summoned and Pit Knight did nothing. And here I'm thinking about whether I should just SP banish the Kieran, but I feel like I have better interaction than to do that. So we get Poplar effect search. I say okay. I don't have a negate here. I'm thinking about the Azurune statue, but I have no reason to. I have no reason to fear anything here. And I did not see what we added. I think it was the OSS. Could not think that anything else were. Clarifying that the Azurune is in the spell trap zone. So you could argue here that my opponent could link summon something here, and I could Azurune it. But I want to save Azurune for the pop of a potential pop with the Rabbit, in case of something like Deception randomly coming out here. And my opponent removed the Poplar. I'm a little bit, oh no. So we go Anima and we go Poplar to the spell trap zone, and I'm pretty happy about that. So we go on Resolution. I go Azurune to summon. Put Azurune out, so we protected against SP, and we destroy the Poplar. So it isn't in the spell trap zone anymore. We are still safe against the field spell because of the Cosmic. We still have the opportunity to go for SP here, but I have no reason yet, at least, to activate it, because this does nothing. Like anything they summon, we can Azurune here. They already normal summoned. They already used Kieran. We should be pretty set here. surely. So my opponent's trying to go battle phase here. I'm thinking, surely I could just let this go through, lose my IP, whatever. But I still feel like we're so sound into this game that just removing the Kirin is both faster and prettier. I also thought of if I should have Promethean Princess to Kirin, but if I did that, I could not have summoned the SP, and that would be unfortunate. So here I'm thinking the OSS on the NMS, of course, unfortunate. But we still have, again, the Cosmic to remove the Ponix. My opponent thinking through Alliance, because of course they could also Burge and end on Flamberge and remove something, but usually that would do 0. So we go Ponix effect, I go SP banish itself and the Ponix, and my opponent scoops, because they needed the monster for the field spell. Never actually revealing that I have the Cosmic. But anyway, we are going with about 22 minutes left on the round into game 3. Alright, so for game 3, we're looking down at OSS, Deception of the Sinful Spoils, Dominus Impulse, Cosmic Cyclone, and Infinite Impermanence. My opponent goes draw phase at the Black Witch. Oh, okay. That's fine. So this is definitely the game that I want to go over. It's the scary of the games. We go Black Witch, send the Poplar, not affect the Poplar, which is surprising to me. But I guess I did the same thing in game 2. We set the Deception. We go Bonfire. That is kind of... Oh, I actually totally forgot about the Bonfire. Huh. I guess it doesn't matter. We add the Oak. We normal summon Oak here. And so, let me know. We normal summon Oak, right? We have 2 cards left in hand. We have the Deceptional Field alongside the Black Witch. And we could have Impermanenced it, stopping the Poplar, which was the game plan. And I didn't I retrospectively during the game thought about whether I should have done that, but I was at the moment tunnel visioned on stopping the Ponix from resolving. And if the Ponix stopped resolving, I would be able to, you know, my opponent wouldn't be able to go into the Fire King engine. So if we stop the Oak, we stop the Summon of the Poplar, we stop the search of the OSS, which is obviously the point that we're making here, right? So if we imperm the Oak, the Poplar won't get back, and we won't be able to search the OSS. So we won't get into Ponix. That's the thought behind this, right? But if Kirin is in hand, which I do not remember, I will go back into this if it comes out. If Kirin is in hand here, the game is just over, I think. If the Oak is just removed off the field, we still get the Poplar back, we still get the OSS search, we still have plenty of engine. I've wasted the imperm. But then again, if Ponix gets summoned through OSS here, and Kirin is in hand, the imperm would still do nothing. They'd get a better pop target, I guess, due to the Ponix coming back in the end phase. They'd have an extra body on the field. So overall, I actually think, especially knowing that they searched the Oak, we should have probably impermed the Oak. But anyway, let's get into the game. We go Poplar. I'm like, I cannot imperm this. If I should have impermed this, I should have impermed the Ponix. So retrospectively, I actually blame this a little bit on time, but I guess this version wasn't a thing, but I definitely tunnel visioned on this particular spot. Especially thinking that I shouldn't actually be worried about the Fire King coming into a thing due to me already having Cosmic. So anyway, we Deception tribute the Black Witch, that is fine. We search out the Hallowed. And I'm for sure, the second I saw Black Witch, we were 10 out of 10 impulsing this Hallowed. Without a doubt in my mind. So we go Hallowed, we go Impulse. Out of doubt. So we were talking about this during the game. I think we would be able to see with the hand gestures doing this. If we should have Dominus, we should have impermed the Sylvia, and then Dominus impulsed the Prom Princess instead. You know, for later combo, because then it would be destroyed too. But I think for that, my opponent would have had too many bodies on field. But anyway, we go Anima, we go set the Poplar, we go Oak Send. And like at this point, I'm actually afraid that my opponent will go SP, which also dodges the Imperm. And, you know, summoning the SP is not as devastating to the Fire King variant more than the pure variant, due to the Amber Whale being able to summon it back. So we go OSS, then the Deception, summon. That is okay. Kind of relieved that we're not seeing the SP here. So we go Pony's Effect, and we go Imperm. So we have 2 cards left in hand. And here you see my opponent, because I set back the Imperm, like my opponent has an interaction here. And I think my opponent is kind of surprised that I actually negated this. And we see here that we are talking a little bit about it. Because at this stage, the Karen will do just amount, if not more, damage. And my opponent has way more bodies. So I definitely see the Imperm being better on Oak. And me just tunnel visioning the Onyx was bad. I definitely see that mistake. And I hopefully will learn on this and do better tomorrow. Well, for you guys, it's like half a week ago, but you know, for me it's tomorrow. So we're thinking whether or not we should draw one. And again, here we're looking at Cosmic, OSS, and Deception in hand. Wounded. We go OSS to the bottom of the deck to draw a card. And let's see what our opponent is comboing here. Because there's definitely a lot of lines here. Both being the Promethean Princess and Amber Whale. Like, they have all the options in the world from deck to deck. Which could have been more or less stopped with negating the Oak. Like, I honestly want to know how this game would have turned out if I negated the Oak, because then they would probably have tributed either the Oak or the Bellstar for the Deception, which would still have been impulsed. And then they'd have 2 cards in hand alongside either a negated Oak or a Bellstar. And they would not have had this amount of material. But anyway, we go Dark into summon the Oak and the Poplar back with the Flamberge. We send 2 cards for IP and the Dark into Prom Princess, which I find odd. You know, using 4 materials. We definitely want the IP into the graveyard, for summoning back, for it to be on the field alongside Flamberge. But it still felt kind of odd, but we definitely have enough bodies, so it doesn't matter. The Dark were just a plus to, I guess, clean up the field. Having now the Ambler Whale, the Flamberge, the IP, a stat card, staring down alongside 12 minutes under the clock. And also, of course, Deception and End Phase. Passing turn. So I just want to make sure that the Promethean Princess and Graveyard, the Ambler Whale effect here, and we're staring down a DGG. So before Asamina, the DGG were absolutely devastating. At this point, the second I see this card, I'm like, okay, I guess I just find a line to Fuko and pass. But in my mind, I'm also like, Fuko kind of sucks here. Like, my opponent is just able to make another board. Also, I want to note for turn, we drew Retaliating Sea, which is honestly great because it makes our Deception live. So we go main phase, activate Deception. Having pretty good time on the clock still. Potentially at least. So we go Flamberge to summon the IP, we go Cosmic Cyclone, lose 1000, which is kind of nerve-wracking at this point of time, but we need to stop anything that my opponent will do here. We go Deception, send the Retaliating Sea, and it's of course banished. Wait, does Deception actually require you to send it to graveyard? Deck. Everyone monster, right? It doesn't care. Ooh. So we go Hallowed, and here I'm into the mindset of, I'm half into mindset as you know, of like everything is banished. With Shifter, if you activate Hallowed, you would just banish everything and not being able to summon. And so first being into the Shifter mindset of anything is banished, I cannot summon the fusions. And also into the I need to summon Fuko mindset, we just go into Ash here. We could definitely have used the Hallowed Negate, but then we would have the Negate alongside an OSS. So I definitely think this is correct still. Looking back at it. So we go Ash, Surge, Poplar. Still have the normal summon, of course. Special summon Poplar, Poplar effect. Promethean to destroy the Ambler Whale. Banishing both the Ambler Whale and the Poplar. Getting... So right now we have the OSS in hand. Right? Oh, the Hallowed, sorry. Staring down the Deception. Not a random set. The Promethean and a Flamberge, which has already used its summon effect. And I think that being able to search the field spell won't do anything here. So therefore I'm searching the random ass 15th card of the side deck. And we're just checking up whether or not the Ambler Whale will be able to summon. And it's just whenever it's destroyed. But we are under Promethean, so we cannot summon Dark. We have no active materials in the graveyard to be able to summon off the Ambler Whale. So the Ambler Whale will not resolve. And here I feel like I should have just added the field spell. But I realize that Hallowed sends to the graveyard and does not banish. So we are good. Summon. And here I need to see whether or not I should search or I should just summon out the negate. But I'm pretty sure I haven't been through the wanted line, so we summon out the fusion to search, which goes through. But for some reason I'm thinking about imperm here, which is of course not a thing. We search out the wanted. And at this point wanted is just another draw. So here I'm definitely feeling the pressure of the time. Trying to break the board and still go into game. Because something, like we cannot do the regular Silentis line here. Because everything will be banished, Premier and Princess won't do anything. And I'm just thinking about whether I could Dark or Heater to steal something from my opponent's graveyard to make their plays crippled. So I'm link summoning and my opponent is just pointing out to me that they need to be banished. Of course, we banish them. My opponent's like, you can take it back. I'm like, no, I have a play here. I need to do this. It doesn't matter if they're going into the graveyard or not. So I'm going Heater. Heater summon out the Oak. Oak effect to summon back the Poplar. So here I have something. And it's just, you know, me just removing cards off my opponent's board. Trying to at least. But definitely the problem here being that everything is banished. So if DDG was not a thing, the Promethean line were definitely game here. But we go for Moon and banish the Flambirch, getting the Promethean, like, you know, making our opponent forced into playing under their own cards. Of course, I should have wanted here instead of going into battle, trying to at least draw something here. And I actively used the effect to negate of the closed moon here. Of course, I couldn't have done that. I realized looking through my graveyard that I used Impulse earlier during this turn, and I could not have negated. It didn't make any difference. But it does somewhat come up here. I draw a card, if I want it, obviously doing nothing. And after giving my opponent a turn, I want to set the Deception. It's fine, it's whatever, it's just locals. And my opponent goes activate Deception. Looking through the cards that they have lost. Sending the Deception for Black Witch. Black Witch to set. OSS. And that is kind of the writing on the wall, right? Like, I have no... I needed to draw a interruption for some of this. Like an imprint would have been great. So like going into Ponyx, going into Field Spell is usually enough here. But we actually go into the Ash. Oh. And Ash, normal summon the Alkanix to search. Having 4 minutes left. And at this point my opponent is actually kind of rushing. And I think my opponent actually forgot that I activated Cosmic Cyclone, burned myself for 1k. So made sure to down life points. So my opponent could have taken a, you could say, more chill time with this turn. But of course none of us wants to win on time. But it is definitely a play. Sending the Kirin. And I think most people around us, even though they'd been here the whole game, are wondering why I don't negate the Kirin to summon back. But anyway, we destroy the back row with the summon back of the Ponyx. Oh right, of course we could not have. And here we're also forgetting about Ponyx being able to set Sanctuary and activate field and that activate Field Spell. But again, it doesn't really matter here. I am down so much material that my opponent just removing the moon here and hitting for some damage, more damage at least, could be enough. But I am actively in the mindset of thinking about my next turn. It definitely looks like my opponent does not have anything to go for game anymore, even though they actually have quite a lot of missed interaction. So they're forgetting about the Ponix. The Alconix gets the level of the monster they add, so they could have ranked 8 here, well, after the battle phase most likely, or gone into something like Zombie Vampire, being able to do more plays of milling a fire or a dark, and due to both of us playing Snake Eyes and me not being gone through any of my oaks, there's a pretty big chance of getting stuff here. And here the DGG actually kind of helps me due to my opponent not being able to steal any monsters. No materials for you. But anyway, we take quite a lot of damage. We're staring down quite a lot of material and no time at all. And again, as I was saying before, I am currently thinking about my turn. I have a what is it? I think I drew the Fubalas, Black Witch, and I drew Impulse for turn. And I make a huge mistake here. I actually want to go back a few seconds. So we're looking down. I definitely didn't look at this SP. It didn't register to me. So we're staring down one card that doesn't matter, the SP and the set. Actually, I'm not sure whether we know it or not. I'm not gonna go back in the video and make this longer than it has to be. So we're looking at a Black Witch, a Impulse that we draw off turn, and the Fubulas that we drew off the Wanted, which of course sucks. And me being in the mindset of having the 2 cards in hand that I need to play, we just need to go for the Diabell Star, search the OSS that I put into the graveyard, into the bottom of the deck the turn before. We just need to Diabell Star, set the OSS, put it into the graveyard, get the Oak out, and play off that. We have plenty of engine here. The SP doesn't register to me. So the first thing I do, I go main phase, we go Diabell Star, send the other monster we have in hand, Diabell Star effect to set, it getting banished. Now we're looking at OSS. Well, it has to be OSS here. We cannot search any other cards. I mean, even Deception does nothing here, even though having the Hallowed in the graveyard, I'm pretty sure. And the fusion monster that we used with Hallowed is banished. The absolute mistake of sending... Well, I'm not sure if it's game ending. But sending the only monster that we were able to normal summon, that rather than the Impulse, which is... Well, it doesn't not matter, but in this case it makes us sure that we cannot play. Just definitely stops us. Me not having it into consideration, I do not know why the Diabell Star is actually into the graveyard. It should definitely have been banished. And right, we were talking about, so here we were talking about the mistimings of the standby phase. I'm pretty sure the Ponix won't get back here, but it doesn't matter. I just definitely have no place. But I would, if I were, just giving myself another second or two to think, I would have been able to Diabell Star, send the Impulse, set the OSS, the SP would banish the Witch. We could have normal summoned the Fubulas, send it off OSS, and then Oak. And I'm not sure if we do see the Imperm here. So none of it at all matters, but it would definitely have done a difference to me. So would have summoned Oak effect to add back, Imperm, game anyway. But definitely a misplay during game 2, which oh right, the not negating the Oak, which actually comes back and kind of bites me here, because my opponent would have negated the Oak, right? Kind of funny. But yeah, it is what it is. Again, definitely a matchup I'm not looking forward to, because it is definitely both skill intensive and hand dependent. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you learned just as much as I did during this video. Let me know down in the comments what you saw that I didn't see either today or yesterday that I did, well, mistakes that were made during the games at least. You know, always try to improve, always try to get better. If you have any suggestions of videos or content that you want to see in the future, again, let me know down in the comments. But thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.